the combat capability it will have. It is really a way to build a large number of lower cost, essentially fighter aircraft that will support and operate in collaboration with the manned fleet. And we see that model going forward for quite some time.
We certainly see that in the Anduril program in Ohio that you've been working very closely with that have proven results.
And it's been a very successful acquisition so far.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chair now recognizes the gentlelady from Pennsylvania, Ms. Houlihan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, gentlemen, for being here, and congratulations on your retirement, General. It's nice to see you, Mr. Secretary, again as well. My questions start with you, sir. A key element of the Air Force's future is, as we've been talking about today, the manned and unmanned systems that are working in concert with one another, and that there is an obvious lean towards autonomous weapon systems as well. Manned and unmanned systems will even help alleviate some of the persistent pilot shortages that we've been experiencing that face the Air Force. For Mr. Secretary, as a preliminary question, would you agree that manned and unmanned systems are the future of the Air Force and air power?
Before I answer that, every time somebody congratulates General Saltzman on his retirement, it hurts just a little bit.
It makes me jealous too. Trust me.
Yeah, it hurts me too. Get him to stay, and I am not as persuasive as I thought. He's leaving. Absolutely, Congresswoman. Unmanned aircraft. Again, I think they will play an increasingly important role as we build out into the future across the board.
I agree, and I think one of the things that I'm sort of stymied by is that in the Air Force proposed budget that basic research is being cut by 5%, applied research is being cut by 21%, and advanced technology development is being cut by 14%. In an environment, frankly, where I feel like money seems to be no object, what was the calculus behind those decisions to cut the budget in those areas?
So that's a good question, Congresswoman. I think if you look at the totality of what we're spending on unmanned platforms, the dollar investment's obviously gone way up. But I take your point is some of the specific basic research. I'm gonna go back and take a look at that. We are spending more money on the autonomy part, but some of the platform R&D stuff. I'm going to go back and take a look at that, Congresswoman.
I really appreciate that, because I think that's sort of a leading indicator of where our values are, where your money, where your mouth is. And I think it's important that we do that. I think it also has real implications to personnel. As you know, we've talked about this, was an acquisitions officer and didn't see a leadership opportunity in my future. Couldn't look up and see that. And it definitely would seem that way. The signal would be to people like me now that because of reduction in budgets in those kinds of areas, that maybe they're not valued as STEM professionals, as people with those backgrounds. So I really appreciate you looking into that. My second question is for General Saltzman. You represent the very smallest and newest branch of the military. Your service was spun out of the Air Force because the space domain was growing in importance and will continue to grow. First of all, I would assume the answer to this is yes, General, but do you agree that establishing the Space Force was a good idea in retrospect?
A wildly successful idea.
I concur. General Saltzman, has the Space Force taken advantage of being a new service in that you have the opportunity to develop a new culture in and separate from the Air Force and approaching space operations, as you've mentioned during this hearing, in a very different set of ways?
Yes, ma'am. I think we've been successful not only in pushing the envelope into what we can do, but growing to take on those new missions.
And so I guess where I'm heading with this question, General Wilsbach, is in the Air Force, when you would have to rank order kind of where your priorities are in terms of what you're putting your efforts to, where would cyber fall in that 1 through 5 or below 5?
I don't know if I could rank it 1 through 5 because it's integral to everything that we
Agreed.
do. It's integral to everything that we do.
I agree. I think one of the things is that our services, cyber is in and of itself a domain too.
Correct.
And I think that we need to be thinking about it in the same way that we thought about the Space Force as potentially its own force, so that we might be able to recognize its incredible importance. With what's left of my time, my last question is also for General Saltzman. We've been talking a lot about acquisitions and your relationship with industry. Space is a lot more congested and contested than ever before. I'm worried that the department might be underutilizing commercial space domain awareness tools that are available in the commercial sector, despite growing sophistication from industry in that area. What steps are you making sure and taking to make sure that we evaluate and integrate what is available on the open economy in your needs requirements?
We have what we call the JCO, the Joint Commercial Office, that pulls in that commercial data. We've established the Universal Data Library as a parking spot for all of that data. We continually evaluate it. We've got 22 different nations that contribute to that as well. So we have the marketplaces to evaluate that data from all the commercial providers, and then we rapidly pull it in and use it for operational purposes.
Thank you. I look forward to continued investigation into the power of industry. I yield and appreciate the indulgence.
Yes, and I do want to, on the point that you make, you made reference earlier to Epic Fury. What happened with Absolute Resolve, the Operation Absolute Resolve, goes to your point. Space and cyber capabilities were demonstrated as part of the joint force as never before in an eye-wateringly effective manner. So these are very important additions to our joint effort. With that, I recognize the gentleman from Virginia, Mr. Whitman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Mink, General Wilsbach, General Saltzman, thanks so much for joining. General Saltzman,